Paris, May 17, 1855. The weighing room of a private bank in the financial district. 3 iron-bound wooden boxes sit on a pair of brass scales. Each box has traveled by train from London to Folkestone, by steamer across the English Channel to Boulogne, and by train again from Boulogne to Paris. The journey has taken approximately 36 hours. The boxes have been in the official custody of the Southeastern Railway, of the Boulogne ferry service, of the chemin de fer du Nord, and finally of the Paris bullion clerks who are now opening them. The boxes contain, according to the manifests that have traveled with them, 200 pounds of gold bars and gold sovereigns, valued at £12,000. In 1855, that amount of money is the equivalent of approximately £1.5 million in modern terms. It is a substantial shipment, but not an unusual one. The Southeastern Railway runs gold from London to Paris on this route every few weeks. The system has been operating for years. The clerks examine the seals. The seals are intact. The metal hoops binding each box are unmarked. The clerks examine the wax impressions, unbroken. The locks. The locks have not been tampered with. There is no indication anywhere on the exteriors of these 3 boxes that anyone other than the authorized railway officials in London has touched them. The clerks weigh the boxes. The weights match the manifests to within the tolerance of the scales. Everything is correct. The clerks open the boxes. Inside the first box, small lead pellets, lead shot of the kind used by hunters to load shotgun cartridges. The pellets fill the box to approximately the volume that gold sovereigns would occupy. Their combined weight matches what the gold should have weighed. Inside the second box, more lead shot, a small amount of gold near the top, evidently to give the contents the correct appearance if the lid were briefly lifted during transit, but the bulk of the contents is lead. Inside the third box, the same, a few gold coins on top, lead beneath. The clerks examine the boxes again. The seals were intact. The hoops were unmarked. The locks have not been forced. The wax impressions match the templates kept in the railway's records. By every measure available to the men staring at 3 boxes of lead pellets, the gold did not leave its containers between the moment those containers were locked in London and the moment they are opened here in Paris. It is, by every measure, impossible. It is also 12,000 pounds of gold, gone. Word reaches the Southeastern Railway in London on the evening of May 17th. By the morning of May 18th, the police are at London Bridge Station. By the end of the week, the case is being described in the British press as the most extraordinary robbery of the Victorian age. By the following year, when the truth finally emerges, it will turn out to be exactly that, the first great train robbery in history, planned over the course of a year, executed in something close to silence by 4 men, and unraveled, not by detective work, but by a woman who had not been paid what she was owed. To understand how 3 boxes of gold became 3 boxes of lead between London and Paris, you have to understand what the boxes were locked in, who had the keys, and who knew the difference between the systems on paper and the systems in practice. The architect of what becomes the Great Gold Robbery is a man named William Pierce. Pierce is, in 1855, in his early 40s. He has worked for the Southeastern Railway for several years as a ticket printer in the railway's London Bridge offices. He is intelligent, observant, and quietly resentful. He has been dismissed from the SER for gambling. A respectable Victorian railway company does not employ men with bookmakers' debts, and he has carried that dismissal with him as both a grievance and an opportunity. The SER fired him. The SER did not, however, ask him to forget what he had learned during his employment. What he had learned was this: the Southeastern Railway runs a regular gold service between London and Paris. The gold travels in iron-bound wooden boxes locked inside specially constructed Chubb iron safes. Safes built by the same Chubb company that made the locks for the Bank of England. Each safe has 2 locks. Each lock requires a separate key. The 2 keys are held by 2 separate railway clerks. Neither clerk has access to both keys. The system is designed so that no single person inside the railway can open the safes alone. The keys travel with the train. The two clerks travel with the keys. The safes are loaded into the guard's van at London Bridge Station. The guard rides with the van for the entire journey to Folkestone, where the boxes are transferred to the Channel ferry. Pierce knows all of this from his time at the railway. What he does not have is access to the safes themselves, the keys, or the trust of the men who do. He needs collaborators. He needs men who can either get the keys directly or get close enough to the people who do. He spends some time identifying the right people. Pierce understands that the operation will fail unless every link in the chain of custody is either compromised or bypassed. The safes need to be opened. The boxes inside need to be opened. The seals need to be replicated. The contents need to be substituted with something of equal weight, so that the manifests at Folkestone and Boulogne and Paris all check correctly. None of that is going to happen by accident. None of it can be done by one man. In late 1854, Pierce makes his first approach. He brings the plan to a man named Edward Agar. Edward Agar is, by his own description and by the contemporary records of the British police, a career criminal of unusually high competence. He is in his 30s. He is a screwsman, the Victorian term for a skilled safe cracker, specifically one whose method is the manufacture and use of skeleton keys, rather than the application of explosives or brute force. The screwsman's craft requires three things: a precise mechanical understanding of how lock mechanisms work, the ability to obtain a brief impression of a target key, and the patience to file a duplicate key from raw stock until it functions perfectly. Agar has all three. He is, by reputation, one of the most accomplished screwsmen in England. He has also accumulated, through 15 years of professional crime, somewhere between £3,000 and £7,000 in cash, a substantial sum for a working man in 1855. Though Agar would reject the description of working man, he does not have a respectable occupation. He has never had one. He has spent his adult life moving between safe-cracking jobs, forgery jobs, and confidence schemes, and he has been unusually successful at it because he is unusually careful. Pierce brings him the gold proposition in the back room of a London public house in late 1854. Agar listens to the plan. Then Agar tells Pierce that what Pierce is proposing is impossible, not because the safes cannot be opened. Any safe can be opened, given enough time and the right key. The problem, Agar explains, is that the safes are guarded. The keys are with men whose entire job is to keep the keys away from people like Edward Agar. The safes themselves travel inside the guard's van, which is locked, and the guard is in the van the entire journey. Without the keys, the operation cannot work. With the keys, it might. Agar gives Pierce the conditions under which he will participate. He needs key impressions, not theoretical descriptions of the locks, not approximate templates. Wax or clay impressions of the actual physical keys, taken under conditions sufficient to produce a working duplicate. He needs allies inside the railway. Pierce has two. The first is James Burgess, an SER guard who has worked the Folkestone line for 13 years and has an excellent reputation among his employers, and a private grievance about reduced wages and uncertain prospects. The second is William Tester, a clerk in the SER's Margate office whose duties give him periodic access to the keys to the railway safes. Burgess will be the man inside the guard's van. Tester will be the man near the keys. Agar accepts the proposition. He gives Pierce one further condition. This is going to take the better part of a year. The keys cannot be obtained on demand. The locks cannot be duplicated quickly. The dummy run cannot be skipped. The work will be done in the order it must be done, at the pace it must be done at, and Pierce will not be the one setting the timetable. In May 1854, a full year before the robbery, Edward Agar and William Pierce travel to Folkestone and spend a fortnight watching the boat train's operations. They watch the train arrive from London. They watch the boxes being unloaded. They watch the clerks who handle the keys. They identify which clerk handles which lock. They time the gaps between the clerks' movements. They identify the points in the routine where the keys are unattended, even briefly. Pierce returns to London. Agar stays. With William Tester's help, Agar begins to befriend members of the railway staff. He is sociable. He has money. He has the manner of a man who has come to Folkestone for legitimate reasons. He concentrates his attention on one particular clerk, the man whose duties most often involve handling the keys to the traveling safes, and works to build the kind of casual relationship that might, at the right moment, produce a brief opportunity to handle a key. And then his presence is noticed. Inspector G.D. Hazel of the Southeastern Railway Police, who is responsible for security on the Folkestone line, observes Agar in the vicinity of the railway offices on multiple occasions. Hazel does not know what Agar's doing, but he knows what Agar is. The British Transport Police records describe Hazel as having become suspicious of a stranger of dubious appearance loitering in proximity to railway property. Agar feels the suspicion before it produces an arrest. He leaves Folkestone. This is the first major delay. The plan loses several months while Agar waits for Hazel's attention to lapse, and for the railway staff to forget that an unfamiliar gentleman was paying them unusual amounts of attention. Tester, in the meantime, finds his own opportunity. The Chubb safes are sent for routine repair. The repair process requires the keys. Tester is briefly in possession of both safe keys for legitimate operational reasons. He takes wax impressions of one key. In his anxiety to complete the task before he is noticed, he duplicates the same key twice. Tester does not realize his error until he leaves the office and meets Pierce. Pierce examines the impressions. Pierce sees that Tester has impressed the same key on both pieces of wax. The second key, the one operated by a different clerk, has not been impressed at all. They have one key. They need two. The dummy run cannot proceed. Late October 1854. Agar and Pierce return to Folkestone. They wait for an opportunity. The opportunity arrives when the boat train comes in and both clerks are called from the office to deal with passengers on the platform. The clerks leave their desks. The keys briefly are in a drawer with no one watching them. Agar takes the second impression in the brief absence of the clerks. He returns the key to the drawer before they return. The British Transport Police records describe this moment as a piece of perfect timing. It is the result of 6 months of preparation. Agar and Pierce now have wax impressions of both keys. The next stage of the work is the duplication of the keys themselves. This is Agar's craft. He files the keys from raw stock by hand. The work takes weeks. Each key is tested against the corresponding lock not in London, where examination by railway officials would be catastrophic, but on the trains operated by James Burgess. Burgess permits Agar to ride the route between London and Folkestone repeatedly. Burgess gives Agar access to the safes during the journey. Agar tries the keys. The first cuts do not work. He returns to London. He files them again. He tries again. He files them again. This goes on for months. By early 1855, both keys work. Agar travels to Boulogne and spends a week observing how the gold boxes are handled on the French side of the channel. He watches the boxes come off the steamer. He watches them go on to the train for Paris. He satisfies himself that the substitution will not be detected before the boxes reach the Paris weighing room. Now they need the lead. Agar and Pierce purchase 200 weights, 224 pounds, of lead shot. They divide it. Some of it is packed into small parcels designed to fit inside the leather courier bags used by railway officials. The rest is packed into ordinary carpet bags of the sort that Victorian travelers carry as hand luggage on rail journeys. The total weight of the lead has been calculated to match the total weight of the gold the boxes are supposed to contain. Pierce has done this calculation from the manifests Burgess has provided. There is a final dummy run. Agar travels with Burgess on the boat train. Burgess opens the safes during the journey. Agar opens the boxes inside, examines the seals, examines the contents, and confirms that everything will work as planned. He closes the boxes again and reseals them with the wax templates Tester has provided. The seals match the originals. To the eye of any railway official examining them at Folkestone, Boulogne, or Paris, the boxes have not been opened. They are ready. Burgess provides the date. The next gold shipment of any consequence will leave London on the night train of May 15th, 1855. May 15th, 1855. Evening. London Bridge Station. Edward Agar and William Pierce purchase 2 first-class tickets to Dover and 2 return halves of tickets to Ostend. The ticket combination is deliberate. It suggests that they are traveling to the continent for a brief journey and returning, which gives them cover for being on the boat train without attracting attention. Pierce is wearing a wig and false whiskers to ensure that none of the SER staff who knew him during his employment will recognize him. They hand their carpet bags, each filled with lead shot, to a porter and ask him to place the bags in the guard's van. The porter does so without question. This is normal practice. Travelers heading to the continent routinely send their luggage to the guard's van rather than carrying it through the cabin. They board the train. James Burgess is the guard for this service. He is signed for the boat train and confirmed that the railway safes have been loaded into his van. The safes contain 3 boxes of gold bullion and sovereigns, a shipment for Abel and Company, a shipment for Spielman, and a shipment for Bolt of Cheapside. Total weight of gold, approximately 200 pounds. Total declared value, 12,000 pounds. The train leaves London Bridge. Once the train is moving and the cabin officials are settled, Pierce moves from his first-class compartment to the guard's van. Burgess is waiting. Burgess unlocks the van. Agar joins them. The carpet bags of lead shot have been placed by the porter exactly where they are needed. Burgess opens the safes with the official keys. Agar opens the boxes inside the safes with tools designed to release the metal hoops without damaging them. He removes the gold bars from the first box, working quickly, efficiently, with the practiced speed of a man who has rehearsed this task on dummy boxes in a London cellar for weeks. He places the gold in one of the courier satchels. He fills the box with an equivalent weight of lead shot. He reseals the box. He resets the hoops. Then the second box. Then the third. By the time the train pulls into Redhill Station in Sussex, 2 of the 3 boxes have been emptied of their gold and refilled with lead. Agar steps off the train at Redhill to stretch his legs, a normal action for a passenger, and hands 2 satchels of gold to William Tester, who is waiting on the platform. Tester takes the satchels and disappears. The gold has now begun its separation from the railway. The train continues. Agar and Pierce return to the guard's van. They work on the 3rd box. Burgess watches the corridor for any sign of railway officials approaching. Here, the only thing that goes slightly wrong: they have brought enough lead shot to substitute for the contents of the first 2 boxes precisely, but not enough to fully substitute for the 3rd. There is a small amount of gold left over. Agar takes it anyway. He places a thin layer of remaining gold on top of the lead in the 3rd box, enough that if the box is briefly opened during inspection, the contents will appear to be gold, even though the bulk of what is inside is lead. The boxes are resealed. The hoops are reset. The safes are locked. The keys are returned to Burgess's pocket. The train arrives at Folkestone in the early hours of May 16th. The boxes are unloaded under the supervision of the railway clerks. The seals are intact. The hoops are unmarked. The locks have not been forced. The boxes are weighed. The weights match the manifests. The boxes are loaded onto the Channel ferry. Agar and Pierce disembark the train at Dover. The porter delivers their carpet bag to them on the platform. Inside the bag is approximately 120 pounds of gold bullion. They take the morning train back to London. For more than a year after the robbery, the case is unsolved. The Southeastern Railway suspends gold shipments along the Folkestone route. The British press calls it the most baffling crime of the age. Theories proliferate. Was it the ferry crew? The French clerks? Was it a substitution at Boulogne? At Paris? The investigators interview every man who handled the boxes between London and Paris, and every story checks out. James Burgess is interviewed. He has 13 years of service. His employers describe him as utterly trustworthy. Nothing he says throws any light on the mystery. The investigation goes cold. Edward Agar, in the meantime, has continued his career. In late 1855, he is involved in a separate forgery scheme, a past check scheme run with a notorious bent barrister named James Townsend Saward, known in London's criminal underworld as Jim the Penman. The forgery scheme falls apart. Agar is arrested. He is convicted at the Old Bailey in 1855. and sentenced to penal transportation for life. He is to be sent to Australia. Before he leaves, Agar takes one final precaution. He has a partner of sorts, a young woman named Fanny Kay, who has borne his child. He has, over the course of his criminal career, accumulated approximately £7,000 in cash. He cannot take it to Australia. He cannot give it directly to Fanny without exposing both of them to additional scrutiny. So he gives it to William Pierce, his friend and partner in the gold robbery, with a single instruction: provide for Fanny Kay and the child. Pierce takes the money. Pierce keeps the money. By the summer of 1856, Fanny Kay has not received a penny of what Agar arranged for her. She is destitute. Her child is hungry. She has gone repeatedly to Pierce. Pierce has refused her, fobbed her off, and eventually stopped seeing her at all. She has no legal recourse. The money was never formally documented as belonging to her. She cannot prove Pierce has it. She does have one piece of information, however. She knows what Pierce did to obtain a substantial portion of the money in question. She goes to John Rees, the governor of Newgate Prison, where Agar is being held pending transportation. She tells Rees what she knows about the Great Gold Robbery. She implicates Pierce, Burgess, and Tester. Rees takes her statement seriously. He sends officers to interview Agar. Agar listens to what Rees and the officers have to say. Agar then makes his own statement. He provides a complete and detailed account of the robbery, the year of preparation, the keys, the dummy run, the night itself, the substitution, the satchel handover at Red Hill, the carpet bag at Dover, the division of the spoils. He names the 3 men who were with him. He confirms Fanny Kay's account in every particular. Agar testifies by his own later explanation because Pierce has betrayed Fanny Kay. The crime he had committed against the Southeastern Railway was, in his view, a matter of professional accomplishment. The crime Pierce had committed against the mother of his child was something Agar would not let stand. The investigation that follows is conducted by Inspectors Williamson and Thornton of the Metropolitan Police, working with the British Transport Police's John Rees. In November 1856, 18 months after the robbery, Pierce, Burgess, and Tester are arrested. In January 1857, all 3 appear at the Old Bailey. Edward Agar testifies against them, in detail, from the witness box. Fanny Kay testifies. The prosecution presents her account and his account in parallel, and each corroborates the other. Pierce is convicted and sentenced to 2 years of hard labor in England. The sentence is, by the standards of Victorian criminal justice, unusually lenient. He is convicted on a misdemeanor